Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 random things you probably didn't know in Age of Empires 2. And truth be told, you probably don't need to know these. They're not going to help you in any way, shape, or form to become a better player, but you know what? They're fun to hear about and they're fun to know. And even me, after 10 years of playing this game, didn't really know about these till recently. So you know what? Let's make a video about them and hop in, take a look at the top 5 list that I have for you guys today. Alright, jumping right in at number 5. This one a lot of you guys probably do know, but I figured I'd include it anyways because it is a bit random. But it's basically the fact that monks can heal farms, which is really weird. Basically, they can actually, if you have a damaged farm, heal it up instead of having a villager repair it. And this will cost a little bit of wood, the same amount as repairing it. So both monks and villagers can actually heal or repair farms, which is kind of crazy. And just to add to this, monks can also heal armored elephants. They don't get repaired, they get healed. Armored elephants is of course a new kind of siege unit. So pretty weird how that works because monks can't heal like organ guns, which is a siege unit, but they can heal armored elephants. So it's really weird what the criteria between what needs healing and what needs repairing, but it seems like it's a little bit all over the place these days, and monks and villagers alike can do the same job. Alright, moving on to number 4. It's once again having to do with repairing, but I promise you the entire video isn't about repairing. But basically, every building has a set cost that you need to repair with, and it always costs a fraction of the resource that the building itself costs, building or siege unit. So for example, a castle needs stone to repair, whereas the trebuchet needs both wood and gold because it initially costs wood and gold. The only exception to this rule, as far as I know, is town centers. For some reason, town centers only need wood to repair. I guess this was a balanced decision because using your stone to repair a town center might be very costly, especially in the early game. And so I guess the devs decided that only wood is important to repair town centers. But another weird thing about town center repairing is that it actually costs, from what I heard, 4 times the price as repairing another building. So repairing town centers is extremely expensive. It costs 4 times the price of wood as you would normally have to pay to repair any other building or units, and that is quite crazy. So I'm not sure if it's actually 4 times the town center price or 4 times the repair cost of another building, but either way, the price it takes to repair a TC is very high. And the reason it's worth knowing about this is because if you're getting pushed and you have to repair a TC, that is extremely inefficient and very hard to sustain. And similarly, if you're attacking, aim for the town centers, especially in Castle Age, because if you can force repairs, not only are their villagers idle, but now they're paying a ton of resources to keep that TC afloat. Really weird things going on with town centers and repairing, and I'm not sure I even have it all figured out, but hopefully you learned something with this point. Moving on to number 3 now. This is one that really is close to my heart. It's having to do with the minimum conversion on monks. So basically, the minimum conversion time for a monk to convert an enemy unit is 3 seconds. And since the in-game timer runs at 1.7 speed, this is like in real life time, less than 2 seconds to react. So this is why sometimes enemy monks or our monks can convert seemingly instantly. You look over, you try to react by deleting your unit, and then boom, it's too late. It's because it's literally 2 IRL seconds and even a bit less, so you really have no time to react, especially if your opponent is Mr. Yo. In that case, you never have time to react. I will also add to this that the maximum conversion time is 10 seconds for units, so it's between 3 and 10 seconds, and so that is kind of the window where you have to decide if you want to, commit to the attack or dip. But it's usually a very small chance to instant converts, but at 10 seconds it's always converted. Alright, moving on to number 2 now. This one I learned recently and it actually makes no sense to me. I'm not sure why this is the case, but basically, Paladin attacks slower than Cavalier. Yes, the Paladin, the upgrade you have to pay 2150 resources to get, makes your unit worse in one aspect than beforehand. It's really quite crazy, and I'm not sure why this is the case, but Paladin have a buff over Cavalier in every single stat, except for the fact that they actually attack slower than Cavalier. Cavalier and Knights, by the way, have the same attack rate, so this is unique to the Paladin upgrade, and I'm really not sure why this is the case. I would be curious to have the reload time of the Paladin, or the attack speed of the Paladin, be the same as the Cavalier, and just see how strong that would be. I guess maybe the developers early on didn't want to make the Paladin too strong and nerfed it a little bit there, or it could just be a mistake that like the Paladin just attacks slower by mistake. But either way, guys, we're getting a little bit scammed when we get the Paladin upgrade, and we're not getting the full stats that we had before. This is completely unique to Paladin, and actually I have one more on the list later. It's number 1, where you get an upgrade and you actually lose stats. Usually you only gain, if not they stay the same. So this is a very big oddity, and I'm not sure why it's the case. Like I said, definitely think twice about picking up Paladin next time though. I don't like getting scammed myself, so definitely gonna be maybe hanging on to those resources instead of investing into the Paladin technology next time. But in all seriousness, I mean, the Paladin's still a great tech and it's still a much better unit than the Cavalier, but it is interesting to have one stat be lower. All right, before I show you guys number 1, I'm going to go ahead and do an honorable mention real quick. And I put in an honorable mention because I honestly just couldn't figure out why this is the case. But basically, bomber towers do 1 damage to rams, whereas bomber cannons do a pretty good amount of damage. Not sure exactly how much it is because it kind of varies. And I'm not sure why this is the case. They shoot the exact same projectile, but one of them does 1 damage and the other does a fair amount of damage. I thought it's because bomber towers do pierce damage, whereas bomber cannons do melee damage. But upon testing, I got extremely weird results. And I even got weirder results when I shot the same bomber cannon against the same unit. And the first shot did 30 damage. It was against a Teutonic Knight. And the second shot did 27 damage. I had no idea why this happened. Basically, my tests were all over the place and I didn't know why or what or how it was happening. But yeah, basically, despite shooting the same things, bomber towers and bomber cannons are doing completely different damage to rams. I don't know how, like I said, but it's just the case. Where's Spirit of the Law when you need him to crack the code for us? All right, now number 1, the moment we've all been waiting for. This one is something that bugs me so hard and is actually relevant to the meta, especially on Arena, and that is Scout Cavalry move faster than Light Cav and Hussar. A lot of you guys probably do know this, especially if you play competitive Arena, but this is another, I guess, oddity you can say, where you upgrade a unit and you actually lose stats. And in this case, you're losing movement speed, which is a really big stat for these units. And so basically, the Light Cav and Hussar are moving, I think, 0.05 movement speed less than the Scout Cavalry. So the Scout Cavalry in Feudal Age is basically the fastest version of this Light Cav line. And as soon as you upgrade it to Light Cav, well, the Scouts can actually chase you down and kill you, even though you have, on paper, the stronger unit and the upgraded unit. So not sure why this happens once again. Light Cav and Hussar move the exact same speed, whereas Scout Cavalry move faster. Again, I think this might just be a mistake because I see no reason why this would be like an intentional balanced decision from the developers. But hey, you learn something new. Next time you got scouts in Arena, you know you're the fastest. The other guy gets Light Cav, you say, see ya nerd, and you're out. You run away and they can't touch you. So actually make sure he doesn't get husbandry. They could be sneaky like that. But yeah, anyway, I guess that's a buff to Teuton Scouts, right? So you have Teuton Scouts versus Dravidian Light Cav. Teuton Scouts are better and faster. So hey, there's that. Something to think about at least. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. I love talking about random things that don't really help out. And I figured this video definitely makes sense to make. Hopefully you guys learned something new. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Helps out a lot. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, stay safe, see ya.